Worst Dixie states. The so-called Dixieland. We're talking about the worst Dixie states. I'm talking about the purest Dixie states. Sorry, Colorado, you weren't Dixie enough in the first place. Washington State has wannabe Southerners, and Virginia is a bit northern. And the fairest among all southern states, Texas, has no place in this list. Number 8. North Carolina. North Carolina is one of the Bible Belt states where you will find at least 2 churches in every street corner fighting with each other to gain more followers, and they do convert a few. North Carolina has a lot of crimes when it comes to murders, and it always ranks in the top 10 of all states having the most murders every year. North Carolina is doing okay in education and is a good state to live in if you like the Bible and want to bend over backwards for your church. And please donate to the mighty church so that you can be blessed for life. And when you stop your donations, the blessings stop. So keep on donating. Surprisingly, North Carolina has a good state capital where there are plenty of jobs. There are nearly 50,000 farms in the state. The great majority are relatively small, and North Carolina has an industrial base with strong growth in computers, electronic communications equipment, chemicals and machinery, and the production of processed foods. Number 7. Georgia. Georgia has history. It is a state where Martin Luther King came from. The country singer Alan Jackson is from there, and his music is popular in Saudi Arabia. Would you believe it? Crimes in Georgia are high and people get murdered daily. East Point is one of the most dangerous places in America where most people are in poverty, and there have been horrendous murders over the years. Georgia has jobs. Some 4/5 of the jobs in the state are in the services industry, including government, finance and real estate, trade, construction, transportation and public utilities. In the late 20th century, Georgia's economic performance surpassed most of the other Deep South states, and by the early 21st century, Georgia's economy had become one of the strongest in the country. Georgia has the film industry and is doing better than California. And guess what? It's also becoming the new Florida. And heck, Florida has a big population and some of the residents are moving in, and some white folks in Georgia are moving out to Tennessee. Number 6. Tennessee. Tennessee is an okay state. Nashville is fantastic. Memphis sounds great. Chattanooga sounds like the next Silicon Valley. And Knoxville is playing catch up. Tennessee has the music industry and plenty of loud rednecks that will spoil your party because they don't like you having a good time. They rather spin their dirty 4x4 vehicles in mud, inspired from their friends, the humble pig. Tennessee is ranked at the top for fiscal stability among the Dixie Club. This means the state can manage its economy better than the rest of them. It ranks in the top 5 among all the states. Jobs in Tennessee are high. Most people work in healthcare, manufacturing, and retail. Number 5. Alabama. This state has a bad name, but today it is doing decent for a Dixie state. Come on, I'm talking about the South, and a lot of them are nuts. Birmingham is the pride of Alabama, where you get to work in a bar or a bank, depending upon your education. Alabama has little jobs, and most jobs are in the manufacturing sector. Sadly, crime has risen over the past few years, and young people need to move out. Number 4. Arkansas. Arkansas is horrible apart from the state city Little Rock, and wherever you go, the locals will follow you. It's a bit scary when you are not white. This often happens in the rural areas. Don't forget the Ozark Mountains. There are plenty of freaks living on the mountain tops. A lot of inbred families come from these parts, and when they see you, they will do the unimaginable. In other words, you will make it alive. If you do, it will be a miracle. Thank God. Arkansas has few jobs. Little Rock is the best place if you want to work. Number 3. South Carolina. Thank God there is not one Carolina. If North and South became one, then there will be chaos on the streets. South Carolina is boring. You'd rather be dead than live in South Carolina. It's not the best place to live a happy life. People are aggressive in South Carolina. This is the state where some people say that the Deep South begins, and it does try to live up to the name. However, they try a little too hard acting Southern, and sometimes it seems like they are from another planet. Jobs in South Carolina are low, and big companies tend to avoid this state as there's nothing happening. Nobody wants to invest there, and the state is rotting away. South Carolinians are extremely jealous of North Carolina. Number 2, Louisiana. Louisiana, a state where being fat is celebrated. Louisiana is awful. Apart from New Orleans, which is a famous place to party on the weekends, people like to drink alcohol, and there have been wild parties over the years. Louisiana is a creepy state where you find the creepiest people, and some of those swamp folks will give you nightmares. The state generates most of its income from fat people, and a lot of them are on welfare. There's little jobs, and people are suffering from health problems and the lack of ambition. If you're young, you need to get out of this state before it ruins you. Find yourself before it's too late. You need to get out of this state now. Number 1, Mississippi. And the worst goes to Mississippi. It had to be number 1 because frankly it's the worst state in America. You can't get worse than Mississippi, where most people are idiots. People talk about racism and that's it. You will always hear white folks talking rubbish along the lines. You see the fella there? That dark fella? He took my job. Is all you're gonna hear. It's kind of depressing state to grow up in. When the state voted to replace the flag with a beautiful magnolia one, is one of the best days for the state in recent times. Most folks in Mississippi haven't evolved. We need to wait another 1,000 years. We will see what happens. Jobs in Mississippi are scarce, and most people are very bad at education. They will fight employee unions because for some reason they love their bosses so much they will do anything, and the slave mentality is very real. And there we have it. Comment what you think, and I will see y'all in another time.
Away down south in the land of traitors, rattlesnakes and alligators, right away, come away, right away.